Our protagonist opens his eyes as it pours. He is freezing and can't seem to move a muscle. He thinks that he may be dying as he has no control of any of his senses, but to his surprise, a beautiful girl appears before him. He is very confused when she picks him up by his armpits and says, "From today onward you are now my pet." He's not sure how, but he notices that he is somehow moving with her now. As she shelters him from the rain with an umbrella, he takes another look at her face and realizes he knows her. Karen is her classmate and the girl crush of his dreams. They stop at a house and Karen gives him a big smile. He thinks she is so cute, with a gentle smile that puts him at ease. Her face suddenly goes blank as he hears another call out her name. Another beautiful figure appears, a more mature version of Karen. He catches them talking about how Karen rescued a puppy, and starts getting jealous when she says that she's going to take a bath with it. He's extremely cold and feels like he's going to pass out, but feels a burst of energy when he finds himself in the bathroom and sees Karen's legs. He thinks to himself that he shouldn't look. He tries very hard not to look, but it's tough being a man in this situation. He eventually closes his eyes, but when she presses tightly against his legs, he opens them and can't believe what he is seeing through the mirror. She begins to wash him, but he is a ticklish boy, so he wags his tail and splashes her with water. She tells him to stop, but he can't, so she grabs his tail. She puts him down and begins to wash herself. He begins to freak out once again. Having the impossible task to stop himself from looking, he doesn't want Karen to think that he is a pervert, so he conjures up all his might to look away. He feels like he is being tortured as he hears Karen scrub her incredible body. But when she holds him up in front of her, his eyes lock onto God's gift to man, and he knows that his fate has been sealed. His stats are too low to beat this final boss, so he gives in, staring profusely at her plot. He thinks she'll call him a pervert. He thinks she likes dogs a little too much and thinks that she is going to do something weird. She proceeds to do something weird. She begins to nibble on his nose and has no clue what the hell is going on. She begins to lick his nose like a lollipop, and at this point I have no idea how I am supposed to feel about this anime anymore. Karen's mom tells her that dinner is ready and she finally leaves. Her mother asks if he can do any tricks and senses that Karen is a bit cold to her mother as she says that puppies can't do tricks, but contrary to what she just said to her mom, Karen goes into her room and says sit. He realizes how big this moment is. If he obeys her command, he realizes that he'll be acknowledging that he is in fact a dog. After some thought, he goes for it. Karen is overjoyed. She continues with another command. As he looks at her hand, he is reminded of the beautiful girl from his class and the hand of the crush that he would never have had the opportunity of touching in his previous life. But somehow he has ended up becoming that girl's dog. He wonders if this new life of his is a punishment from the gods, or if it is a blessing in disguise. The next day, Pachita tries to escape. His goal is to get to his house, thinking that he'll be able to find out how this happened, but Karen grabs him and tells him not to scratch the door. She tells him that they'll go on a walk. She puts the collar on while he thinks about how warm her hands feel. While outside, Karen suddenly stops and tells him how much fun she's having when suddenly a ball comes out of nowhere, causing her to sit on him, but Pachita is inside her skirt, but he can't see anything. He tries to push his way out with his nose, but unknowingly begins to engage in some plot development. She eventually stops him, calling him a bad boy and saying that her plot is not for him. When she puts him down, Karen notices that his nose is red. She looks around to make sure nobody is watching and goes for a lickety-lick, but she's interrupted by kids, wondering what this crazy lady is doing. They ask for the ball and Karen tells them off, saying little dogs walk through this spark, and that they should be more careful. The kids apologize, and Pachita realizes that Karen really only likes dogs. But Pachita has to pee, which gets Karen all excited. She places him by a pole and tells him to go right ahead. He freaks out, embarrassed that he's taking a piss in public. while Karen takes out her phone. He refuses to let go of his last bit of humanity, determined to hold it in. Back at home, he suddenly has the urge to tell Karen about his feelings for her. He tries saying the words "I love you," but lets out a bark instead. He gets sad, thinking that it sucks to be a dog, but he doesn't well for long as another girl comes in. She asks if Karen is ready to study. While Pachita wonders why Karen is friends with this bimbo. Karen says that they'll do math, and Nakatani says she loves it when Karen talks dirty. But she mentions that Nakatani is his neighbor and thinks that he should try to somehow leave with her to get home. He conjures a plan to get Nakatani's favor and have her take him home with her. When Karen's mom asks for Karen's help, Pachita thinks that this is his chance. As soon as she leaves, Pachita goes for the kill. Unfortunately, Nakatani is scared of dogs. She freaks out and tells him to stay away, when suddenly a wild centipede appears. It crawls on Nakatani and Pachita tries to warn her with a bark, but realizes that he's only scaring her even more. She runs away, but she trips, landing hurt on her knee. He sees the centipede crawl inside her clothes and realizes that time is of the essence. He reacts quickly, entering the dungeon, ready to face this final boss, but she turns over, causing him to unbuckle her plot armor. He recovers his footing and sees the centipede in his sights and successfully slays it with a bite attack, but the terrain begins to shift again. The path forward is tighter, but he's willing to take his chances. He finally finds his way out of the plot dungeon, but suddenly gets hit by a friendly fire. Luckily, he lands without getting hurt, but sees that her knee must be in pain. He feels bad and knows that he can't communicate his apology through words, but also knows that actions speak louder than words. Felix her as well while Nakatani lolls. Karen appears, glaring at the betrayal that she sees before her eyes. Nakatani tells her that it's not what it looks like. Pachita freaks out as well while Karen steps forward, when suddenly Karen bashes her foot on the wall. She takes off her sock and tells Pachita to hurry up and come. She puts out her bruised foot and calls out for Pachita again. He goes for it, thinking that she'll hurt herself again if he doesn't. Nakatani has no clue what's going on. She covers her head as Karen hovers over her. Karen asks what she was doing with Pachita while she was gone. Nakatani tells her that he went into her shirt and Karen asks if he went there on his own. She tells her that he did and Karen rages, telling her that she can't believe that she put her hands and body all over him. She says that she couldn't even do any of those things with him yet. While she lifts her dress, she says that change is now. She runs towards him and calls out his name. He runs away and avoids her by going through her legs. She sits down and suddenly shouts out. Nakatani asks her what the actual hell she's doing. Karen ignores her and tells him again to come home. He knows she won't stop until she gets what she wants. He closes his eyes and steps forward while he thinks to himself, "I'm going home sweet home with Karen." Karen boasting Nakatani that this is the bond that they have, and that she'll never be able to stand between them. Pachita looks up and sees how happy she is. Nakatani looks down and says that she can't believe what just happened but is glad that Karen's bitch face is gone before she leaves. Nakatani thanks, but she in forgetting that centipede as she apparently figured out that was Pachita's goal at some point. Later, Karen dresses up in a cat outfit.